The universe conspires in mysterious ways for those born under Capricorn's influence. While others chase fleeting stars across the night sky, you've always felt drawn to something more substantial, the enduring mountains that stand as silent witnesses to time itself. There's a reason the ancient stargazers chose the mountain goat as your celestial symbol. They recognized in the heavens what we see in you, that relentless drive to ascend against all odds, finding footholds where others see only impossible walls. Welcome to Secret of the Zodiac, where today we're unlocking the cosmic DNA that makes Capricorns the Zodiac's most formidable force. These aren't just random personality traits, they're the essential coding that separates true Capricorns from those merely visiting your territory. Whether you were born between December 22nd and January 20th, or simply find yourself mysteriously aligned with Capricorn energy, this revelation is for you. The 8 defining qualities we're about to explore aren't just interesting astrological footnotes, they're the very architecture of your soul's blueprint. They explain why you've always felt different, why conventional paths never quite satisfied that burning ambition within. They reveal why you instinctively understand that while others race for quick victories, you're playing a longer, more meaningful game. Take a moment to consider the mountains you've already climbed in your life, those moments when everyone else surrendered, yet something inside you, something stubborn and unyielding, refused to accept defeat. That wasn't just determination, it was your Capricorn essence asserting itself. It's what ancient astrologers observed in the heavens, and what modern psychology confirms. Certain souls are built to endure and excel where others falter. The cosmic fingerprint of Capricorn isn't always obvious to the casual observer. Unlike more demonstrative signs that announce their presence with dramatic flair, your power operates beneath the surface, in the quiet determination that fuels late nights working while others sleep, in the patient strategy sessions plotting moves others won't understand for years, in the silent sacrifice you make without seeking recognition or praise. Throughout history, civilization's greatest builders, strategists, and visionaries have channeled this same Capricorn energy, from ancient architects who created structures that have outlasted empires, to modern leaders who transformed industries through sheer force of will. They all share your celestial coding. It's no coincidence that figures like Benjamin Franklin, Martin Luther King Jr., and Michelle Obama all bear the Capricorn imprint in their charts. Their legacies weren't built on luck, but on the same foundational qualities we're about to explore. Before we begin this cosmic journey together, let your fingertips find that subscribe button below. Not because algorithms demand it, but because our celestial community grows stronger with each mountain climber who joins our ranks. That simple act ensures you'll never miss the cosmic insights that might just illuminate your next strategic move. Leave a thumbprint of approval with a like. It's the quiet nod of recognition Capricorns understand so well. Now, prepare yourself for some profound self-recognition as we ascend this mountain together. The path ahead will reveal the 8 unmistakable traits that separate casual climbers from true Capricorns, those qualities that explain why you've always felt the weight of purpose on your shoulders, why you instinctively understand that true power lies not in flash, but in substance. Our journey begins with the cornerstone of the Capricorn spirit, that unshakable ambition that burns like a quiet flame, impervious to doubt and circumstance. It's this first essential quality that serves as the foundation upon which all your achievements are built. First, unshakable ambition. Within the soul of every true Capricorn burns an ambition unlike any other sign in the zodiac wheel. This isn't the flashy, attention-seeking drive that propels others into spotlights only to fade when challenges arise. No, your ambition runs deeper, flowing through your veins like ancient wisdom passed down through cosmic generations. It manifests as that voice inside you that whispers, "Not good enough yet," even when others celebrate your achievements. It's the force that pulls you from bed before dawn, while competitors still dream of success rather than build it. What separates Capricorn ambition from mere wishful thinking is its unbreakable connection to reality. Where others construct castles in the air, you methodically lay foundations in solid earth. Your goals aren't idle fantasies, but carefully architected blueprints, each with precisely calculated steps toward manifestation. You understand intuitively what Joseph demonstrated in ancient Egypt, that true power comes not from sudden elevation, but from the patient building of competence that makes you indispensable. Consider how Joseph's story mirrors your own internal process. Sold into slavery by his brothers, imprisoned unjustly, he never surrendered his inner vision. Through years of seeming defeat, he continued developing his administrative abilities, his insight, his strategic mind, until the moment came when even Pharaoh himself recognized what had always been true. Joseph possessed an extraordinary capability that transcended his circumstances. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. This biblical wisdom captures perfectly your Capricorn understanding that obstacles aren't roadblocks, but rather character-building materials for your ultimate architecture. When others face rejection, they often abandon their path. When you encounter no, you hear not yet. This isn't blind stubbornness, but something far more sophisticated, a bone-deep recognition that worthwhile achievements demand proportional resistance. The mountain exists not to block your journey, but to prove your worthiness through the climb itself. This understanding places you in a category apart from dreamers who surrender at the first sign of difficulty. Look back at your own history, those moments when logic dictated surrender, yet something within you, something ancient and unyielding, refused to accept defeat. That wasn't mere determination, it was your Capricorn essence expressing its fundamental nature. It's why you've accomplished things others only talk about, why you've rebuilt after disasters that would have permanently derailed less resilient souls. Second, strategic patience. If ambition forms the bedrock of Capricorn power, then strategic patience provides the architectural blueprint. This second essential quality explains why you operate on a different timeline than those around you, why you seem mysteriously untroubled by delays that drive others to desperation. You instinctively understand what Ecclesiastes teaches. There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. This isn't passive waiting, but active preparation, a sophisticated understanding that premature action often undermines ultimate success. Like a chess grandmaster who sees 20 moves ahead, while opponents focus on immediate captures, you recognize patterns invisible to those trapped in short-term thinking. Your patience isn't born from timidity, but from profound strategic insight. Consider how this manifests in your approach to life's challenges. Where others rush impulsively toward visible opportunities, you carefully assess the invisible currents beneath surface events. You recognize that timing transforms the impossible into the inevitable, that properly placed foundations determine whether structures will collapse or endure centuries. This patience explains why your achievements often display a solidity and permanence that others struggle to replicate. The natural world offers perfect metaphors for your approach. The mighty oak doesn't rush its growth, but methodically builds strength through countless seasonal cycles, developing root systems capable of surviving storms that shatter faster-growing trees. The diamond doesn't form overnight, but transforms under pressure across geological ages. Both embody the Capricorn wisdom that authentic quality cannot be rushed, but must be cultivated through disciplined attention across time. Historical figures who've changed civilization's course almost universally display this Capricorn quality. Abraham Lincoln spent decades developing his political philosophy before assuming leadership during America's existential crisis. Warren Buffett's wealth wasn't built through impulsive speculation, but through decades of patient, carefully researched investments. Mother Teresa didn't create her worldwide humanitarian organization overnight, but through small, consistent actions across decades. All demonstrate the profound Capricorn understanding that transformative achievement requires strategic patience. This quality explains why you often achieve your greatest successes later than more impulsive signs. Your power doesn't peak early and fade, but rather builds steadily throughout life, reaching its zenith when others have already plateaued. It's why Capricorns often experience their most significant breakthroughs and accomplishments in their 40s, 50s, and beyond. when wisdom has fully integrated with ambition. Your approach to relationships shows this same strategic patience. Where others rush into connections that burn bright but quickly exhaust their fuel, you carefully evaluate potential partners, friends, and allies for sustainable compatibility. This isn't emotional hesitation, but pragmatic recognition that meaningful bonds, like all worthwhile creations, require proper foundations and sustainable architecture. Even your approach to knowledge acquisition demonstrates this quality. Rather than skimming surfaces for quick talking points, you dig deep into subjects that interest you, building comprehensive understanding that makes you a genuine authority rather than a casual commentator. This explains why people naturally turn to you for counsel during complex situations. They intuitively recognize the depth beneath your carefully chosen words. The biblical wisdom of Ecclesiastes perfectly captures this Capricorn essence, understanding that cycles and seasons govern all achievement, that forcing unripe fruit yields bitter results, that the farmer who plants must wait through winter's dormancy before harvest arrives. This cosmic patience separates true Capricorns from impatient pretenders who may briefly masquerade in your territory but cannot maintain your steady climb. When others grow frustrated with slow progress, you remain centered in cosmic understanding that foundations determine destinies. When they abandon long-term projects for quick dopamine hits, you continue methodically building toward visions they cannot comprehend. This isn't stubborn inflexibility, but sophisticated recognition that certain achievements, the ones truly worth pursuing, demand proportional investment across time. As we transition from these first two fundamental Capricorn qualities to examine how they manifest in your leadership style, consider how these traits have shaped your journey thus far. The unshakable ambition that sets your internal compass toward meaningful summits, combined with the strategic patience that ensures you'll actually reach them. These aren't separate characteristics, but interwoven aspects of your cosmic DNA. They explain why, when others celebrate quick victories that soon fade from memory, you continue quietly building legacies designed to outlast your earthly presence. Third, quiet authority. In a world that increasingly confuses volume with value, your Capricorn leadership emerges as a profound counterpoint, a reminder that genuine authority has never needed amplification. This third essential quality manifests not in dramatic declarations or self-aggrandizing gestures, but in the subtle gravitational pull you exert on environments you enter. Like the mountain that doesn't announce its presence, but nonetheless commands the landscape, your authority emanates naturally from your being rather than from external validation. Observe how others instinctively turn toward you during crises, not because you've demanded attention, but because they sense an immovable stability in your presence. This is the quiet authority that defines authentic Capricorn leadership. When chaos erupts and emotional reactions cascade through a group, something in your demeanor, a certain steady gaze, a measured cadence in your speech, perhaps just the unhurried way you consider options, communicates competence without requiring verbal assertion. The biblical figure of Daniel embodies this Capricorn quality perfectly. Taken captive to Babylon, he didn't demand respect through rebellion or self-promotion. Instead, he allowed his excellence to speak for itself until even hostile observers recognized his exceptional nature. Daniel so distinguished himself among the administrators by his exceptional qualities that the king planned to set him over the whole kingdom. His influence expanded not through political maneuvering, but through consistent demonstration of uncommon wisdom, a pattern you've likely witnessed in your own life trajectory. This leadership style operates on principles largely forgotten in contemporary culture. While others lead through dominance or charisma, you lead through competence and consistency. You understand intuitively that authority granted from external sources can be withdrawn just as easily, while authority arising from genuine capability remains unassailable. It's why your influence often outlasts more visible leaders, whose power depends on position rather than substance. Consider how this manifests in professional environments. You rarely initiate power struggles or engage in territorial displays. When others clamor for credit or campaign for advancement, you simply continue producing exceptional results, knowing that genuine excellence eventually compels recognition. This approach mystifies more aggressive competitors who mistake your restraint for weakness, only to discover too late the formidable force beneath your composed exterior. Even your physical presence reflects this quality. There's often a certain economy in your movements, nothing wasted, nothing performative. You don't fidget under pressure or pace nervously when challenges arise. This physical steadiness communicates a message more powerful than words. Here stands someone who has faced adversity before and emerged victorious through methodical persistence rather than frantic activity. Your speech patterns similarly reflect this quiet authority. Where others ramble anxiously or over-explain their positions, your communication tends toward precision and substance. You speak when necessary, not from compulsion. When you do share perspectives, your words carry unusual weight precisely because they aren't diluted by constant verbalization. Like the judge whose rare statements immediately silence the courtroom, your measured interventions command attention not through volume, but through recognized value. This quality explains why you often find yourself in leadership positions despite never campaigning for them. Like Daniel in ancient Babylon, your consistent excellence creates a vacuum that naturally pulls you toward positions of increasing responsibility. The pattern repeats across your life. Quiet competence recognized, authority conferred, larger challenges presented. Not because you demanded advancement, but because your capability made alternatives impossible to justify. Fourth, resilient responsibility. If quiet authority forms the outward expression of Capricorn leadership, then resilient responsibility constitutes its inner engine. This fourth defining quality reveals itself not in moments of triumph, but during periods of hardship when others seek escape, while you step forward to shoulder necessary burdens. Like the mountain that doesn't shirk the weight of snow, but bears it until spring brings transformation. You accept responsibilities that would crush less substantial souls. The biblical wisdom captures this perfectly. Carry each other's burdens, and in this way, you will fulfill the law of Christ. This isn't about martyrdom or self-sacrifice, but about your fundamental understanding that meaningful achievement requires proportional responsibility. Where others see burdens to avoid, you recognize opportunities to demonstrate capability and build enduring structures. Observe your own patterns during group endeavors. When projects encounter obstacles and initial enthusiasm wanes, there's often a moment when participants begin making excuses, shifting blame, or simply disappearing from communication channels. It's precisely in these moments that your Capricorn essence reveals itself, not in dramatic declarations, but in the simple, quiet assumption of whatever tasks remain uncompleted. Not because you enjoy overwork, but because your integrity cannot tolerate abandoned commitments. This resilient responsibility extends beyond professional contexts into every relationship you maintain. Friends instinctively know you'll be there during genuine crises, not with empty platitudes, but with practical support and unshakable presence. Family members recognize your reliability isn't conditional, but constitutes a fundamental aspect of your character. This consistency creates a gravitational field around you. People orbit your stability precisely because they recognize its rarity in a world of convenient excuses and shifting commitments. Historical figures who've transformed societies invariably demonstrate this Capricorn quality. When George Washington was offered kingship after the American Revolution, he rejected the crown in favor of establishing constitutional governance, assuming the harder responsibility of creating sustainable systems rather than enjoying personal power. When Nelson Mandela emerged from decades of imprisonment, he chose reconciliation over retribution, accepting the complex responsibility of healing a divided nation rather than pursuing justified vengeance. Both exemplify the Capricorn understanding that true leadership means accepting more difficult paths when they serve greater purposes. What distinguishes your approach to responsibility from mere dutifulness is its resilient quality. You don't merely accept obligations, you maintain them through challenges that would defeat others. This resilience stems from your foundational understanding that worthwhile achievements require proportional persistence through inevitable difficulties. The mountain doesn't exist without resistance. It is literally formed by pressure over time. Similarly, your character develops its remarkable strength through consistently meeting resistance rather than avoiding it. Consider how this manifests in long-term projects you've undertaken. Where others experience enthusiasm that quickly dissipates when novelty fades, you maintain consistent effort across time, understanding that meaningful creation requires thousands of unglamorous moments of showing up and continuing when motivation has long since evaporated. This explains why you often complete what others merely begin, why your life contains finished masterworks while others accumulate abandoned drafts. This resilient responsibility creates a curious paradox in how others perceive you. They simultaneously take your reliability for granted while holding you to higher standards than they apply to themselves or others. This double standard might occasionally frustrate you, but it also reveals their unconscious recognition of your exceptional capacity. They instinctively understand you operate according to different cosmic programming, that your Capricorn nature enables you to carry weights that would crush ordinary constitutions. The most profound aspect of this quality isn't the external recognition it eventually generates, but the internal strength it continuously builds. Each responsibility met, each commitment fulfilled despite difficulty, each burden carried to completion. These aren't merely tasks checked off a list, but investments in your character's infrastructure, like the master weightlifter who progressively increases resistance to develop extraordinary strength. Your willingness to accept escalating responsibility consistently expands your capacity. As these third and fourth qualities, quiet authority and resilient responsibility, merge within your leadership approach, they create something increasingly rare in contemporary culture. Leadership based on substance rather than spectacle. While others lead through dramatic gestures designed for maximum visibility, you build enduring systems designed for maximum impact. They seek positions, you create legacies, they accumulate followers, you develop successors. This distinct leadership style explains why organizations under your guidance tend to outlast their founders, why teams you've shaped continue functioning effectively in your absence, why structures you've built remain standing when flashier constructions have long since collapsed. It isn't merely what you accomplish that distinguishes your Capricorn nature, but what remains after you've moved on to new mountains, requiring your unique climbing abilities. Fifth, pragmatic wisdom. While others chase intellectual fashions that flare brilliantly before fading into obscurity, your Capricorn mind operates according to a different principle altogether. Pragmatic wisdom that stands the test of application. This fifth essential quality transcends mere intelligence to reach something far more valuable, the capacity to discern what actually works in the material world. Not what should work in theory, not what might work under ideal conditions, but what demonstrably succeeds when tested against reality's unforgiving standards. The biblical account of Solomon captures this Capricorn quality perfectly. When offered any gift from the divine, he requested neither wealth nor power but practical discernment. Give me wisdom and knowledge, that I may lead this people. This wasn't abstract philosophical insight he sought, but applicable understanding, wisdom that could resolve real disputes, guide tangible decisions, and navigate complex human systems. His famous judgment between two women claiming the same child demonstrated exactly this pragmatic wisdom, cutting through emotional manipulation and theoretical arguments to find the solution that revealed essential truth. Observe how this quality manifests in your own approach to problems. Where others become entranced by elegant theories that collapse under real-world conditions, you instinctively test ideas against practical application. This isn't intellectual limitation, but sophisticated recognition that true wisdom must ultimately prove itself through implementation. The most beautiful architectural design means nothing if the building cannot stand. The most eloquent political philosophy means nothing if it creates suffering when applied. You understand this instinctively while others remain seduced by conceptual elegance divorced from functional reality. This pragmatic wisdom explains why people naturally seek your counsel during genuine crises. They recognize, perhaps unconsciously, that your thinking incorporates variables others overlook, the human psychology that might sabotage a technically perfect plan, the resource limitations that might undermine an otherwise sound strategy, the timing factors that might transform success into failure or vice versa. You don't merely analyze what should happen under optimal conditions, but anticipate what will happen when plans encounter reality's inevitable resistance. Historical figures who've transformed societies invariably demonstrate this Capricorn quality. Benjamin Franklin's genius wasn't confined to theoretical discoveries, but extended to practical inventions that improved daily life. Florence Nightingale's contributions to medicine weren't merely compassionate ideals, but data-driven systems that dramatically reduced mortality rates. Both exemplify the Capricorn understanding that wisdom proves its worth not through elegant articulation, but through measurable improvement in real conditions. What separates your pragmatic wisdom from mere practicality is its depth and comprehensive scope. You don't merely seek expedient solutions to immediate problems, but develop approaches that address root causes while anticipating future complications. This explains why systems you design tend to outlast their creators, why organizations you structure continue functioning effectively long after your direct involvement ends, why your advice, when followed, typically yields not just immediate results, but sustained improvement. Consider how this quality influences your decision-making process. Where others might be swayed by emotional appeals, social pressure, or theoretical elegance, you consistently return to fundamental questions. Will this actually work? Has something similar succeeded before? What unintended consequences might emerge? How will this perform under stress? These aren't cynical inquiries, but sophisticated filters derived from the Capricorn, understanding that implementation ultimately matters more than intention. This pragmatic wisdom creates a curious paradox in intellectual environments. Those enamored with theoretical complexity might initially dismiss your perspective as overly practical or insufficiently innovative. Yet when crises arise and elegant theories fail to produce results, the same voices that dismissed your caution suddenly seek your guidance. They recognize, if only temporarily, what you've always understood, that wisdom ultimately proves itself not through rhetorical victory, but through functional success in the material world. Sixth, disciplined self-mastery. If pragmatic wisdom governs your external decisions, then disciplined self-mastery shapes your internal landscape. This sixth defining quality reveals itself not in dramatic declarations of willpower, but in the consistent patterns of your daily existence. The quiet choices made when no one is watching, the steady habits maintained without external accountability, the impulses redirected toward constructive purposes rather than momentary gratification. The biblical wisdom captures this perfectly. Better a patient person than a warrior, one with self-control than one who takes a city. This isn't about denial or restriction, but about sophisticated understanding that genuine freedom emerges not from indulging every impulse, but from directing energy toward meaningful creation, like the master sculptor who removes everything that isn't the masterpiece. Your self-discipline carves away distractions to reveal the essential form of your highest potential. Observe your own patterns compared to those around you. When fatigue tempts others to abandon commitments, something in your constitution enables continued effort. When immediate pleasure beckons others away from long-term investments, something in your awareness maintains focus on distant horizons. This isn't joyless self-deprivation, but strategic allocation of finite resources. The recognition that energy directed toward momentary satisfaction remains unavailable for enduring achievement. This disciplined self-mastery extends beyond obvious areas like work habits into every aspect of your existence. Your relationship with time reflects remarkable consistency. Appointments kept, deadlines met, commitments fulfilled without drama or last-minute scrambling. Your financial decisions similarly demonstrate this quality. Resources allocated according to long-term planning rather than impulsive desires. Investments maintained through market fluctuations that trigger panic in others. reserves established for contingencies others prefer not to contemplate. Historical figures who've achieved extraordinary results invariably demonstrate this Capricorn quality. When Thomas Edison conducted thousands of experiments before creating a functional light bulb, he exhibited not just persistence, but disciplined self-mastery that redirected frustration into methodical problem-solving. When Katherine Johnson calculated space trajectories with perfect precision, despite working in an environment of institutional discrimination, she demonstrated this same quality, channeling potential resentment into exceptional performance that ultimately proved undeniable. What distinguishes your self-mastery from mere rigidity is its sophisticated flexibility. You don't maintain discipline for its own sake, but as a means toward meaningful ends. When circumstances change and require adaptation, you adjust course without abandoning fundamental principles. This explains why your self-discipline tends to strengthen rather than weaken over time. It remains responsive to reality rather than becoming brittle through dogmatic adherence to outdated methods. Consider how this quality manifests during periods of adversity. When unexpected obstacles arise and emotional reactions threaten to derail progress, your Capricorn nature enables remarkable recalibration. Rather than becoming trapped in frustration, resentment, or self-pity, you systematically redirect attention toward factors within your control. Not because you lack normal emotional responses, but because you've developed the exceptional ability to process emotions efficiently without becoming imprisoned by them. This disciplined self-mastery creates a foundation for sustained achievement that more impulsive approaches cannot match. Like the master marathon runner who maintains steady pace while others sprint and collapse, your consistent application of effort across time enables you to complete journeys others abandon halfway. This explains why your accomplishments often display unusual longevity. They aren't built on temporary enthusiasm, but on sustainable systems of consistent application. The most profound aspect of this quality isn't external achievement, but internal liberty. While others remain unconsciously controlled by impulses, social pressures, and emotional reactions, your self-mastery creates genuine freedom of choice and action. This isn't about suppressing authentic desires, but about distinguishing between momentary impulses and enduring values, between reactions triggered by external stimuli and responses aligned with internal principles. As these fifth and sixth qualities, pragmatic wisdom and disciplined self-mastery, merge within your cognitive approach, they create something increasingly rare in contemporary culture: decision-making based on tested reality rather than wishful thinking. While others chase intellectual fashions that offer temporary social approval, you build knowledge systems designed for functional application across changing circumstances. They accumulate information, you develop wisdom, they memorize principles, you embody them. This distinct mental framework explains why your counsel often proves prophetic in retrospect, why your cautions frequently reveal themselves as foresight rather than fear, why your recommendations typically yield sustainable results rather than temporary improvements followed by new complications. It isn't merely what you know that distinguishes your Capricorn nature, but how you integrate and apply knowledge within actual systems rather than theoretical constructs. As we prepare to explore the final dimensions of your Capricorn essence, those qualities most hidden from casual observation, yet perhaps most essential to your cosmic DNA, consider how these intellectual traits have shaped your journey thus far. The pragmatic wisdom that filters decisions through reality's unforgiving standards, combined with the disciplined self-mastery that enables consistent implementation. These aren't separate characteristics but integrated aspects of the Capricorn mind, designed by cosmic architecture to build not castles in the air, but cathedrals on earth that remain standing when their creators have long since departed. Seventh, understated excellence. Beneath the visible achievements that eventually draw attention to your path lies a quality perhaps most quintessentially Capricorn, an understated excellence that seeks perfection, not for recognition, but for its own inherent value. This seventh defining trait reveals itself not in moments of public acknowledgement, but in the private attention to details that others might consider insignificant. the meticulous refinements made when no audience would notice their absence, the standards maintained even when shortcuts would remain undetected. Unlike signs that create primarily for external validation, your relationship with excellence exists independent of witnesses. You polish the underside of the table that no one will see. You triple-check calculations already verified twice. You refine processes already functioning adequately. This isn't perfectionism born from insecurity, but craftspersonship arising from integrity. The understanding that excellence isn't a destination reached for approval, but a continuous practice embodied for its own merit. The biblical craftsman Bezalel exemplifies this Capricorn quality perfectly. I have filled him with the Spirit of God, with wisdom, with understanding, with knowledge, and with all kinds of skills, to make artistic designs for work in gold, silver, and bronze, to cut and set stones, to work in wood, and to engage in all kinds of crafts. Note that his excellence wasn't confined to a single specialized domain, but extended across diverse materials and methods. Similarly, your pursuit of excellence typically spans multiple areas of life rather than remaining isolated within professional boundaries. Observe your own approach to tasks compared to those around you, where others consider good enough a reasonable standard. Something in your constitution pushes toward optimization beyond practical necessity. This isn't wasteful perfectionism, but sophisticated recognition that excellence in seemingly small matters creates compounding advantages over time. The masterfully crafted tool functions more efficiently, requires less maintenance, and outlasts mediocre alternatives. Just as your meticulously constructed systems, relationships, and creations demonstrate remarkable durability precisely because of attention invested in seemingly minor details. This understated excellence extends beyond tangible creations into your process itself. Your preparation for important endeavors typically includes contingency planning. Others consider excessive. Your research delves deeper than immediately required. Your practice continues beyond the point where basic competence has been achieved, not from anxiety about failure, but from commitment to comprehensive mastery that leaves nothing to chance when excellence remains possible through additional effort. Historical figures who've created enduring legacies invariably demonstrate this Capricorn quality. When Antoni Gaudí designed the Sagrada Familia with such intricate detail that construction would continue more than a century after his death, he exhibited this understated excellence, creating beauty for generations he would never meet. When Katherine Johnson calculated space trajectories with such precision that astronauts specifically requested her verification despite available computers, she demonstrated this same quality, exceeding required standards not for recognition, but because excellence itself constituted her internal compass. What distinguishes your pursuit of excellence from mere perfectionism is its pragmatic foundation. You don't seek flawlessness for its own sake, but understand that genuine quality emerges from the integration of function with form, of practicality with beauty, of efficiency with craftsmanship. This explains why your creations tend to combine aesthetic appeal with remarkable durability. They aren't merely visually pleasing but structurally sound, not just theoretically elegant but practically useful. Consider how this quality influences environments under your stewardship. Spaces you maintain typically display an ordered quality that communicates attention without requiring announcement. Systems you oversee function with unusual reliability, precisely because potential failure points have been identified and addressed before they manifest. Relationships you nurture demonstrate stability because maintenance occurs continuously rather than during emergencies. This understated excellence creates a distinctive signature across everything that bears your influence, not flashy enough to immediately catch attention, but substantial enough to reward closer examination. This quality creates a curious paradox in professional environments. Your work often receives delayed recognition, overlooked initially because it lacks dramatic presentation, then discovered later when flashier alternatives have failed to deliver substance. Organizations frequently realize your value only after your departure reveals the countless small optimizations that maintained smooth operation. This pattern might occasionally frustrate you, but it also reveals the enduring nature of your contributions. They aren't dependent on your presence because they've been built with integrity that transcends personal recognition. Eighth, hidden depth. If understated excellence forms the outer expression of your private self, then hidden depth constitutes its inner reality. This eighth and final defining quality reveals the most profound paradox of the Capricorn nature. Beneath the practical, disciplined exterior that the world recognizes lies an emotional and spiritual complexity rarely glimpsed by casual observers. Like the mountain whose visible stone peak represents merely 1/10 of its actual mass, your accessible personality conceals depths that few are privileged to explore. The biblical description of David captures this Capricorn duality perfectly. A formidable warrior and pragmatic king whose administrative abilities built an empire, yet simultaneously the author of Psalms displaying profound emotional sensitivity and spiritual insight. You have searched me, Lord, and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from afar. This recognition of being fully known beyond surface appearances reflects the hidden Capricorn yearning for connection that transcends practical association. This hidden depth explains one of the great misconceptions about your sign, that Capricorns lack emotional capacity or spiritual dimension. Nothing could be further from truth. Your emotional life doesn't lack richness. It simply exists at depths casual interactions never reach. Your spiritual understanding doesn't lack profundity. It simply requires integration with practical application rather than remaining abstract contemplation. The mountain isn't emotionless. Its feelings simply operate on geological timescales rather than momentary fluctuations. Consider the private rituals that sustain your inner life, the reflective practices maintained without external acknowledgement, the philosophical explorations pursued without announcement, the creative expressions developed without audience. These aren't secondary aspects of your nature, but essential foundations that enable your visible achievements. The mountain's peak stands tall precisely because of unseen roots anchored in Earth's depths. Similarly, your practical accomplishments arise from invisible emotional and spiritual groundwork rarely revealed to others. This hidden depth creates an interesting pattern in your closest relationships. People who know you only professionally or casually often express surprise when glimpsing more personal dimensions of your character, your unexpected humor, your contemplative insights, your artistic sensibilities. These aren't inconsistencies, but revelations of authentic complexity, typically reserved for those who've earned access through demonstrated trustworthiness and genuine connection. Historical figures who've transformed societies while maintaining rich inner lives invariably demonstrate this Capricorn quality. When Abraham Lincoln guided America through existential crisis with pragmatic wisdom, while privately writing poetry, expressing profound melancholy, he exhibited this hidden depth. When Marie Curie revolutionized physics through disciplined scientific method while maintaining private journals, revealing philosophical questioning and emotional complexity, she demonstrated this same essential Capricorn duality. What makes this quality particularly poignant is the rarity with which it receives full recognition. Because your practical achievements naturally draw attention, even those who appreciate your contributions often fail to recognize the emotional and spiritual complexity from which they emerge. Like the iceberg, whose visible portion reveals nothing of its hidden mass, your public persona often obscures rather than illuminates your complete nature. This eighth quality completes our exploration of authentic Capricorn essence, revealing that your cosmic DNA contains not just practical capabilities that society readily values, but profound depths that might remain largely private throughout your journey. Together, these eight qualities explain why you've always sensed your difference from those around you, why conventional explanations of success and fulfillment often ring hollow against your internal knowing, why your path demands integration of visible achievement with invisible depth that others might never fully comprehend. As you reflect on these essential Capricorn qualities, unshakable ambition, strategic patience, quiet authority, resilient responsibility, pragmatic wisdom, disciplined self-mastery, understated excellence, and hidden depth. Recognize that they aren't separate characteristics but integrated aspects of a coherent cosmic architecture. The mountain doesn't possess height separate from foundation, visible peak separate from hidden mass, weathered surface separate from geological core. Similarly, your Capricorn nature functions as an integrated system, designed not merely for success, as conventionally defined, but for enduring impact that continues generating value long after more visible contributors have faded from memory. Whether you were born under Capricorn's direct influence or simply recognize these qualities within yourself regardless of birth date, embracing this cosmic inheritance offers extraordinary potential, not for fleeting recognition that requires constant renewal, but for meaningful contribution that continues bearing fruit across generations, not for momentary power dependent on position, but for enduring influence arising from substance, not for the hollow satisfaction of surpassing others, but for the profound fulfillment of manifesting your unique cosmic blueprint in material form that enriches all it touches. We've journeyed together through the 8 defining qualities that separate true Capricorns from those merely visiting your territory. From the unshakable ambition that forms your foundation to the hidden depths that few will ever fully explore, these aren't random traits, but an integrated cosmic architecture designed for extraordinary impact across time. The first quality, unshakable ambition, revealed how your goals transcend momentary achievement to create lasting legacies. Unlike the flashy, attention-seeking drive of other signs, your ambition connects directly to reality, methodically laying foundations in solid earth rather than constructing castles in the air. This explains why you accomplish what others merely discuss. Your second essential trait, strategic patience, illuminated why you operate on different timelines than those around you. Like the chess grandmaster seeing 20 moves ahead, you recognize patterns invisible to those trapped in short-term thinking. This cosmic patience separates true Capricorns from impatient pretenders who briefly masquerade in your territory but cannot maintain your steady climb. The third quality, quiet authority, demonstrated how your leadership emerges not through dramatic declarations but through consistent demonstration of competence. Like Daniel in ancient Babylon, you allow your excellence to speak for itself, creating a gravitational field that naturally pulls you toward positions of increasing responsibility without requiring self-promotion. Your fourth defining trait, resilient responsibility, explained why you step forward when others retreat from necessary burdens. This isn't martyrdom, but sophisticated understanding that meaningful achievement requires proportional responsibility. Each commitment fulfilled despite difficulty strengthens your character's infrastructure, continuously expanding your capacity. The fifth quality, pragmatic wisdom, revealed how your mind operates according to tested reality rather than wishful thinking. Like Solomon seeking discernment rather than wealth, you value functional solutions over theoretical elegance. This explains why your counsel often proves prophetic in retrospect, yielding sustainable results rather than temporary improvements. Your sixth trait, disciplined self-mastery, illustrated how consistent patterns in your daily existence create freedom rather than restriction. This strategic allocation of finite resources enables you to complete journeys others abandon halfway, building on sustainable systems rather than temporary enthusiasm. The seventh quality, understated excellence, exposed your relationship with perfection that exists independent of witnesses. You pursue mastery not for recognition, but from integrity, understanding that attention to seemingly minor details creates durability across all your creations. Finally, your eighth defining trait, hidden depth, revealed the profound paradox at your core. Beneath the practical exterior lies emotional and spiritual complexity, rarely glimpsed by casual observers. Like David, who was both warrior, king, and psalmist, your achievements emerge from invisible foundations that might remain largely private throughout your journey. Now that you've recognized these qualities within yourself, we invite you to join our cosmic community at Secret of the Zodiac. By subscribing to our channel, you'll gain access to similarly profound insights across all 12 zodiac signs, discovering how each cosmic archetype manifests its unique strengths and challenges. Beyond subscribing, we encourage you to engage with our growing constellation of stargazers. Share in the comments which Capricorn trait resonates most strongly with your experience, whether you're a Capricorn sun, have key planets in this powerful sign, or simply recognize these qualities within yourself, regardless of birth date. Your perspective creates valuable illumination for fellow travelers on this cosmic journey. If our revelations have provided meaningful insight, please consider activating the Super Thanks feature below this video. Your financial support directly addresses the substantial costs of creating daily zodiac content of this depth and quality. Each contribution enables us to continue expanding our cosmic library with detailed explorations of how celestial influences manifest in your daily experience. Take a moment to explore our previous videos revealing the hidden depths of other zodiac signs. Perhaps you'll discover insights about important people in your life or uncover aspects of your own chart beyond your sun sign that explain patterns you've always sensed but never fully understood. Remember that liking this video significantly increases its visibility to others seeking similar cosmic insight. This simple action helps expand our community of dedicated stargazers committed to authentic understanding rather than superficial horoscopes. The mountain doesn't climb itself, and neither does our channel grow without your conscious participation. Join us as we continue exploring the zodiac's hidden wisdom, one celestial revelation at a time. Until our stars align in the next video, continue embracing your Capricorn power to build not merely for today, but for generations yet to come.